Although not very known in the general public, there is so much well-documented research on mindfulness, including, but not limited to, mindfulness breathing, yoga, stress reduction, and other programs such as, and I will explain these later, MBSR, MBCT, DBT, ACT, MBRP, MBRE, MBEAT, and so many others. I will give more details on these programs. In this lecture, we will cover some findings on the research and how you can use this information in your advantage to improve your overall well-being, not well-doing, as I call it, overall well-being. You will hear about many researchers and what they did to scientifically prove an advantage for being mindful on our health, happiness, and overall well-being. Study of mindfulness meditation and mindfulness-based practices have been increased dramatically. Over the past decade or so, we went from hundreds to thousands of studies proving an amazing results of these practices. To that point that mindfulness has been introduced, believe it or not, in schools, hospitals, corporations, everywhere. We have seen that mindfulness improves mental and physical health and reduces stress. Mindfulness has been used to help people deal with chronic pain, depression, substance abuse, even borderline personality. Have you ever heard of something called age-related cortical decline? Well, what it really means is that as we get older, our brain thins out. Sorry to disappoint you with this news, but there was a study done with the long-term meditators, folks who have been meditating for 20 to 30 years. And the results are really interesting. Scientists compared the brain of meditators with the brain of folks with same age who do not meditate, and found that meditators' brain did not thin out. Now, this may not be as helpful unless you are willing to meditate, for the next 20 to 30 years and hours a day, right? But let's be honest, most of us will never do that. Well, because of that, scientists did another study. In a recent study at UCLA, they looked at the people who meditated 8 weeks, so just 8 weeks, 30 minutes a day. And they saw brain changes in the same area as with the folks meditating for years. Areas of executive functioning, prefrontal cortex, decision-making, flexible thinking, and compassion. So, even if you practice meditation for 8 weeks, only 30 minutes a day, you can change a structure of your brain. I just truly think it is an amazing research that we can change structure of our brain even just by practicing 8 weeks, 30 minutes a day. Let me go briefly through some less known mindfulness developed practices. What you will find out and possibly be surprised how mindfulness practice is used to help a wide range of individuals with physical and psychological disorders. But keep in mind, no reason to have any disorder in order to receive a huge benefits from mindfulness. You can pick up a thing or two what works for you from this program. Try some and create your own mindfulness practice based on what you learn here. And again, some of these programs that I'm going to tell you about may or may not work for you, but again, few tools will. I want to give credit to my colleague and friend Ryan Niemek, who in his book, Mindfulness and Character Strengths, outline many of the research programs I will mention here. So first, MBSR, Mindfulness Stress-Based Reduction Program. This program was developed in 1990 by pioneer in this field, and we talked about him earlier, Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn at the University of Massachusetts. Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn incorporated best Buddhism and meditation practices and created a program that helps patients with chronic pain and illness. Interestingly enough, these are the patients whose doctors, clearly Western medicine, had nothing else to offer. Now, imagine if the program helped these people, what it can do for you, for me. This program is certainly used as a framework for many other mindfulness programs and interventions, as we call it in psychology, interventions. It is most studied program, and it is done in 8 sessions, each session lasting about 2.5 hours. Now, I will mention this later, but this program also exists on CDs, and it is 8 weeks, and each session is 45 minutes that you can do at home. And I've done it 2 times. I started third one, didn't complete it, but I'm going back to it. The greatest thing is that today, you do not have to go to the University of Massachusetts, as I said, to experience this great program. So even better for some of us that can't find time and resources to attend the program, as I mentioned, so Dr. John Kabat-Zinn has this entire program on 4 CDs. And again, you practice 8-week program, 45 minutes a day. I must say that this is my favorite structured mindfulness program. You can find a link to these CDs and books by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn in the attachment session. Now, here are some of the benefits of this program validated by the scientifically proven research. Improved general health, decreases in medical symptoms complaints, decrease in psychological distress, anxiety and depression, improved psychological well-being, reduce stress, improve mental health, and help improve thinking, and even more. Let's move to the next one. MBCT, Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy Program. This is also an 8-week program based on MBSR developed in 2003 by the researchers Zindel Siegel, Mark Williams, and John Tisdale. In MBCT, negative thoughts are experienced as events rather than facts. So one of the focuses in this practice is not to generalize bad things in life, but rather to see it as a single instance, an event. For example, I messed up last week at work when I didn't deliver on time, rather than I am total failure in life and at work. See the differences? So participants practice allowing letting go, learning that thoughts are not facts. There are just thoughts in our heads, and learning about self-care and decreasing downward spiral rumination. When we think one bad thoughts and then keep adding another and another and another until it becomes an unbearable situation to live it. And all starts with a single thought, right? It is what we do with that thought that matters. It is worth saying that this program is mostly used with participants with major depression, but we can certainly all benefit learning from it and applying what we can to improve our life and the life of people around us. Next program, DBT, Dialectical Behavior Therapy. DBT was developed by Marshall Inhan at the University of Washington. This program is mostly focused on teaching acceptance, and it was developed by studying Holocaust survivors. The researchers realized that key to surviving was an acceptance. This program is used mostly with people with trauma, borderline personality, and suicidal individuals. Let's move to the next one. Mindfulness-Based Relapse Prevention, MBRP. MBRP was developed by Alan Marlett. Some program results on the research where, where lower substance use, increase in acceptance, and acting with awareness. Move to the next, ACT. ACT. ACT was developed in late 70s by Stephen Hayes, Kirk Strawhall and Kelly Wilson. This program focuses on accepting experience in life and separating oneself from thoughts we have. Very powerful idea, separating oneself from a thought. It was applied to patients with depression, anxiety, anger, chronic pain, and even work stress. Now moving to MBEAT, mindfulness-based eating awareness training. This is an 8-week program for people with eating disorder. Next, mindfulness-based relationship enhancement, developed by James and Kimberly Carson to improve relationship with non-distressed couple. It showed a positive impact on relationship, satisfaction, closeness, optimism, etc. I hope this lecture give you really good idea about research on mindfulness and many different programs developed based on the mindfulness research. So, now we know what paying attention to now can mean in our life, career, relationship, and overall life satisfaction and success. Let's move to the next lecture.